American Fugitive by Shingo Zhang. Chapter 1. Ren-Yee. It was a rainy February afternoon. Ren-Yee got off from work early to see his dentist. He got into his blue SUV in the parking lot outside of his office. Pretty soon, he was on a highway. The rain turned into a heavy downpour. Ren-Yee had to really focus on the road because he could feel the car was pushed by the wind on a slippery highway. Fortunately, he reached the exit to downtown Oakland safely. 15 minutes later, he arrived at a building named the Pacific Center. When his SUV entered the parking lot, the wind and rain just stopped. Out of the SUV, Ren-Yee smelled the fresh air after the rain. He smiled like a boy. Ren-Yee was a handsome man of medium height, close to 40 years old. With chiseled cheekbones and hair that curled naturally, he had skin that was a little darker than most Chinese. He wore his standard office attire with light blue sports jacket, beige khakis, and a pair of white tennis shoes, which was his compromise between lace-up leather shoes and rain boots on a rainy day. He had played neither tennis nor other sports for a few months because the ground had been wet in most days. If it were 10 years ago, he would have gone skiing or pistol shooting in an indoor range, or doing some other wintertime hobbies. But he had been busy lately. The Pacific Center was located in the Chinatown section of Oakland. It was a 2-story building that stood in the middle of a parking lot. The first floor was occupied by many restaurants. The second floors were occupied by apparel shops, travel agencies, law offices, and clinics. The Wang Dental Clinic was in the middle of the second floor. Dr. Wang was going to give Ren-Yee a deep cleaning. Ren-Yee entered the building through the center entrance. He walked up the stairs and entered the long hallway on the second floor. Entering the clinic, Ren-Yee saw Bei-Bei sat behind a counter. With light makeup and beautiful long hair flowing over her shoulders, Bei-Bei radiated the beauty and vivacity of a woman in her mid-20s. With no one else in the reception area, Ren-Yee sat down on a chair by the door. Bei-Bei pointed to a sign-up sheet on the counter and requested, "Please register here." Ren-Yee replied, "We are old acquaintances." "Is that necessary?" She smiled and said, "Every patient has to register. That is the rule, and there is no exception." Ren-Yee smiled. "You know my name already. Can't you just fill it for me?" Bei-Bei said, "I can't." Ren-Yee said, "You are so mean today," as he walked over and put his name on the registry. Dr. Wang entered the reception area from the back. Tall, with short permed curly hair, she asked Ren-Yee, "Is it still raining outside?" "Just stopped," Dr. Wang said. "You are very lucky, as always." Her Mandarin had an obvious Shanghai accent. Ren-Yee smiled smugly. "The rain stopped the moment I got here. Rain every day makes one sad, doesn't it?" Dr. Wang was not in an upbeat mood. Ren-Yee said, "It's good. A new layer of fresh snow over the mountains around Lake Tahoe. It would be perfect for skiing this weekend. No wonder you are in such a good mood. Sounds like you have lots of free time." Ren-Yee said, "I was just making a conversation." "I wish I had some free time." Dr. Wang said, "I hear you are writing a book in your spare time. Is it a biography of Lin Biao?" Ren-Yee stood up. "Yes." Bei-Bei asked, "Who is Lin Biao?" Ren-Yee walked to the middle of the room. He used to be vice chairman of the Chinese Communist Party. The number 2 guy in China, behind Mao. Dr. Wang smiled. He was also from Hubei province, a fellow townsman of Dr. Ho. Ren-Yee had a Ph.D. in physics before switching into software industry many years ago. Lin Biao on the cover of Time September 9, 1966. Bei-Bei asked, "What happened to Lin Biao?" Dr. Wang said, "In 1971, Lin Biao's official airplane crashed in Mongolia. Everyone on board, including Lin Biao, his wife and son, died in a big fire." Bei-Bei frowned. "What a tragedy!" Bei-Bei asked. "Was it because of a mechanical failure or bad weather?" Ren-Yee said, "It has been a mystery. We still don't know the cause after all these years." Bei-Bei smiled. Looks like it's up to you to unlock the mystery for us. Dr. Wang said. Government officials said that Lin Biao was a traitor to China. And he died in self-destruction. Ren-Yee said. Those are lies. Lin Biao did not commit treason to China, nor did he commit suicide. Dr. Wang said. It's up to you to overturn the case for Lin Biao then. Yes. When that happens, I will also be rich and famous. Ren-Yee smiled. Dr. Wang and Bei-Bei laughed. Looking forward to that day. Switching topics, Bei-Bei asked Ren-Yee. Did you ski this year? I only skied once. I was too busy this year. Dr. Wang turned to Bei-Bei and said. He used to go skiing every week. Then she talked to Bei-Bei in a low voice and in Shanghai dialect. A playbo. Bei-Bei nodded. Ren-Yee understood some basic words in Shanghai dialect, because his wife talked with her parents using the dialect. He heard the sentence, and was not happy. Dr. Wang turned to Ren-Yee and said in Mandarin, Haven't you gone hunting, surfing or flying airplanes recently? I haven't done any of that for many years now. Bei-Bei said, You can fly airplanes? That's very dangerous, isn't it? Ren-Yee said, I have a very good pilot's safety record. Why don't you come with me one day, and I will take you up into the sky? That's very nice of you. But I need to think about that. Dr. Wang said flatly. Jin Yong-Shee will come shortly. Jin Yong-Shee was Ren-Yee's wife's name. She and Dr. Wang had been good friends for many years. Ren-Yee was surprised at the news. Before he had time to say anything, Dr. Wang said, Please wait a little bit. She turned and disappeared into the clinic's hallway. Ren-Yee walked toward his chair. But he did not sit down. Yong-Shee has an appointment today? But she never mentioned that to me. Bei-Bei said. She should have had a cleanup a long time ago. But she could not find time. I called her this morning. She said she had some free time in the afternoon. She will come soon. Jin Yong-Shee was a professor in the biological sciences at the University of California. She was a busy woman. He knew that quite well, of course. Bei-Bei smiled and asked, What's wrong? Did you have a fight at home yesterday? You are joking. We don't fight. Bei-Bei was filing away patients' records. She put down the files on her desk and looked up at Ren-Yee. Oh, that's right. Both of you are Ph.D. Bei-Bei lowered her voice and added, Not even a disagreement? Ren-Yee waved a hand, dismissing the question. He sat down and saw a copy of World Journal, a newspaper in Chinese, on the coffee table by the corner. He picked it up and started reading. Are you a biker? Bei-Bei's voice came from somewhere next to a wall of file cabinets. I used to ride motorcycles. Ren-Yee's head still buried in the newspaper. What kind of motorcycles? Harley and Honda. You were a Harley rider? Ren-Yee put down the newspaper, took out his wallet, pulled out a photo, and handed it to Bei-Bei. Bei-Bei laughed when she saw the photo, which had Ren-Yee wearing a black helmet, black leather jacket, black jeans and black leather boots. Bei-Bei asked, Where is your black sunglasses? That was in my hand. Bei-Bei nodded. Are you a member of those clubs? Who wants to be a member? We used to have our own groups. People who ride Harleys are quite weird. When they cruise on the road, they don't look like they are riding motorcycles. Ren-Yee solemnly straightened his blue jacket. Bei-Bei looked on and didn't know what to expect. Ren-Yee raised one leg and turned his body, as if he were mounting a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. After sitting down, he raised his hands as if he were holding the high handlebars on a Harley. Bei-Bei got excited. Yes, yes! That's it! Encouraged by her enthusiasm, Ren-Yee turned his body a little bit, as if he were turning his motorcycle to the left. Jin Yong-Shee opened the door. Ren-Yee froze. Yong-Shee was startled. What are you doing? Asked Ren-Yee's wife. Jin Yong-Shee was tall and had light skin and a round face. One could almost tell she spent most of her time in classrooms and laboratories. Ren-Yee, still in his writing posture, asked, Take a guess. Are you fighting with someone? Bei-Bei chuckled while covering her mouth with one hand. No. Ren-Yee returned back to his normal writing position. Guess again. Reading a newspaper in a bathroom? Bei-Bei burst out laughing. Ren-Yee said, I am riding a Harley-Davidson. Haven't you seen them on the streets? What is a Harley-Davidson? Yong-Shee asked innocently. The most popular motorcycle made in America. You didn't know? Bei-Bei said. Harley's is not something important. Who would remember all those motorcycle brands? Yong-Shee said. Yes. It's just a motorcycle. She walked toward the counter. Should I register here? Bei-Bei said. Yes. As soon as Yong-Shee put down her name, Bei-Bei stood up. She picked up Yong-Shee's file and waved at her to follow. Both Bei-Bei and Yong-Shee walked into the hallway. Ren-Yee opened his mouth in protest. But no words came out. Yong-Shee unexpectedly stopped and turned around. She said, I'm sorry. I have to get back to the campus pretty soon. That's all right. You go ahead. I'm off for the rest of the day anyway, Ren-Yee said with a smile. Although he sounded all right, he felt bad about the way he was treated. He was proud that his wife was an outstanding woman. But the pressure of measuring up to his wife's level of success can be intolerable. Everyone respects Yong-Shee, and yet no one seems to respect me. Ren-Yee felt like a loser. Re-entering the reception area, Bei-Bei told Ren-Yee, You certainly know how to take good care of your wife. You are a true gentleman. Ren-Yee replied in a flat, matter-of-fact voice. Why don't you simply hang a big sign here? It should say Shanghai natives first-class citizens. Others second-class citizens. Before Bei-Bei could explain, he raised his right hand, signaling her to wait. Ren-Yee continued. You could have made it all clear to the customers, and saved them lots of trouble. Bei-Bei did not say a word. A few minutes later, Ren-Yee sighed. Well, I am just an engineer. Walking into any Chinese supermarket, you would see a dozen people like me. Alice is almost done with her patient. You will be the next one, said Bei-Bei. How long has Alice been a resident here? Bei-Bei laughed. She is definitely a good dentist. Don't worry. The name Yong-Shee means sing him in Chinese. Yong-Shee was born in a Christian family. Ren-Yee and Yong-Shee had a daughter named Tsai-Hua 9 years ago. Although the whole family had gone to church every Sunday for many years, Ren-Yee was not baptized. The name Ren-Yee means kind just, in Chinese, which are the top 2 virtues in Confucius's moral code. The name highlighted Ren-Yee's family background, which is different from his wife's. 10 minutes later, Bei-Bei led Ren-Yee into the hallway. There was an office and a break room on the right. There were also several treatment rooms. Ren-Yee entered one treatment room. Alice was a slim, young, white lady with dark hair and brown eyes. Ren-Yee said, "And I how," in Mandarin, with a heavy foreigner's accent. "And I how," Alice replied in perfect Mandarin. Ren-Yee said in English, "Wow! You surprised me!" He sat down on the patient's chair. Alice told him that local anesthesia was needed for deep cleaning. Wow! He was surprised and a trace of hesitation appeared on his face. Alice didn't pay any attention to his reaction. She applied an anesthetic gel to the left side of his oral cavity and walked away. 5 minutes later, she came back with a syringe and needle in her hand. After ordering him to open his mouth, she gave him an anesthetic injection. She said, "Wait for 15 minutes." He nodded and lay down on the chair. She disposed of the syringe and needle and gave him a small wave before leaving the room. Ren-Yee was alone in the treatment room. Usually, Dr. Wang would clean his teeth. Ren-Yee had a vague memory that Alice had worked on his teeth before, and he didn't have a bad impression of her. If no one were willing to give Alice a chance, how would she learn? With that thought, serenity returned to Ren-Yee. Ren-Yee lay on the dental chair, when he heard Bei-Bei's loud voice from the reception area. "Oh my God! Oh my God!" Bei-Bei walked swiftly to the treatment room next door. Ren-Yee immediately got up from the chair and walked into the adjacent room. Bei-Bei was surrounded by Dr. Wang and Jin Yong-Shee. "My God! Dr. Wang said in a surprised voice. Bei-Bei turned and told Ren-Yee. Some young men are robbing the ramen restaurant on the first floor. He was taken aback by the news. Ren-Yee asked. What gun do the black silver have? Bei-Bei could not understand the question. Dr. Wang told Bei-Bei. He is under local anesthesia. She understood the question because silver and person are pronounced similarly in Mandarin. Dr. Wang said to Ren-Yee, Let's ask Maria. The four walked toward the reception area. Maria, a Hispanic woman, was one of Dr. Wang's patients. She witnessed the robbery as she entered the building. She stood by the counter and was on her cell phone with the police. Two men. Both held pistols in their hands. That answered Ren-Yee's question, and he told Yong-Shee. I will down out and tuck a look. Yong-Shee knew what Ren-Yee meant, and immediately said. No, Ren-Yee said. I have a gown in my tar. I will coach them, while walking toward the door. Yong-Shee knew Ren-Yee wanted to catch the robbers. She rushed forward to catch Ren-Yee. But he broke free of her grip, opened the clinic's door, and ran toward the stairs. Ren-Yee told himself, My marksmanship is excellent. Don't you remember? He had no time to explain to his wife. He ran down the stairs. In the parking lot, Ren-Yee ran toward his blue SUV. After opening the passenger door, he removed a green canvas bag from the glove box. His beloved Beretta pistol and a magazine lay inside the bag. Ren-Yee quickly loaded the magazine into the pistol, closed the car door, and ran toward the front of the building. The building has a long front corridor with a row of restaurants on the side. The ramen shop was in the middle. A black Chevrolet sedan was on waiting outside the ramen shop with a rolled down the driver's side window. A large man was in driver's seat, constantly surveying the parking lot. A young Chinese couple was walking towards the ramen shop from the opposite side. The young man had his left arm around the woman, and they were laughing and talking. Ren-Yee waved his left hand and shouted, Turn back! Here is a robbery now! The young couple stopped and gazed in confusion. The Chevrolet's rear door opened. A wide-shouldered man, with a black scarf covering his face below the eyes, walked out quietly. With a pistol in his hand, the man searched for Ren-Yee, who hid behind one of the corridor columns. The young woman screamed at the sight of the pistol, and pulled her male companion around and ran away. Ren-Yee suddenly ran toward a red car behind him. The black scarf raised his pistol, and fired 2 shots at Ren-Yee. People at multiple corners of the plaza started screaming and ran towards safety. Ren-Yee hid behind the red car and felt lucky. He was not hit. Could there be another person in the back seat? Ren-Yee asked himself, and wished the answer were negative. He quickly took a look, and saw the man was approaching. Should I warn him or retaliate? Ren-Yee raised his pistol and fired 2 shots at the Chevrolet, which punctured the windshield and smashed one headlight. The black scarf was startled and fired several shots at the red car, while retreating toward the ramen shop. The windows on the red car were blown away. Ren-Yee raised his head slightly and saw the scarfed man open the ramen shop door, yelling at his partners. What will happen when the 2 robbers inside the restaurant come out? What if 3 men come after me? Ren-Yee bent down and hurried toward a gray car. The driver in the Chevrolet fired 2 shots at Ren-Yee with his left hand. The bullets barely missed Ren-Yee. 3 men came out of the ramen restaurant and quickly got inside the Chevrolet, which raced toward the parking lot exit. Ren-Yee stood up, raised his Beretta, and watched the Chevrolet turning onto the road. He didn't shoot. But he remembered the car's license plate. Yong-Shee, Bei-Bei, and others came out of the building. People walked slowly, as if they were unsure whether the robbers had really gone. Yong-Shee alone ran toward Ren-Yee, who took the magazine out of his Beretta and put them into his pants pocket. As he and Yong-Shee embraced, tears of joy streamed down Yong-Shee's cheeks. 2 police cars came with 4 policemen. 2 policemen talked to the restaurant customers. The owner of the ramen restaurant, a middle-aged woman, talked with 1 policeman. Bei-Bei came and hugged Ren-Yee and Yong-Shee both. You are not hurt, right? Said Bei-Bei. Ren-Yee said. I was not, Yong-Shee said. Thank God. He nodded. Yong-Shee touched his right cheek. Can you feel it? He shook his head. A policeman walked towards Ren-Yee and wanted to talk to the hero of the day. Ren-Yee looked around for Dr. Wang. The translator was nowhere to be found.